Hey guys, welcome back to Live on RealiTEA with Trisha and Kiley on the Russell Hantz Show, where we bring you the latest tea from all of the Big Brother shenanigans going on in the house on the live feeds before the episodes air. So, if you're here for spoilers, then you're in the right spot. If you're not here and wanting to stay spoiler free, then you will not need to watch this episode. But for those of you that have watched our previous episodes and are here for some more hot tea, then welcome to the show. Hit us with the comments as we go through the feed. We will bring those comments on the screen, talk about your questions, talk about your thoughts as we are airing today. For those that are not watching live and watching it a little bit later after we're done, as we give a quick update, um, drop some comments in the YouTube page on the channel and we will address those comments. We can respond on there or we could pop them in on the next show tomorrow. So we left off yesterday with what was going to be happening in the safety suite. So Kylie, what happened yesterday? Who played in the safety suite yesterday? So first of all, we know that the episode or the safety suite is only good for one more week after this. So yesterday we talked about how we figured a lot of people would be playing and Memphis would be was going to be pushing a lot of people to play. So who all ended up playing in the safety suite yesterday?
Yeah, we did. We ended up seeing a lot of people play. I think we got Enzo, Davon, Bailey, Cody, Christmas, Ian, David, and Kevin. So 8 people played in the safety suite competition, which was more than the majority of the house. So the feeds were down for a really long time yesterday for that competition. And when they came back up, we see that Christmas did win the safety suite. So, congratulations. Christmas has finally gotten to prove herself that she can win a competition. It might have been a competition of like scooting around on a scooter and having a one legged race. I don't know where Christmas's strengths lie in terms of competitions, but she did bring home the win.
It could
So,
have also been, putting NASCAR tires back on
right.
the
It was definitely
fastest.
something that was suited towards her strengths. And we see Christmas get her first comp win in Big Brother, legitimate comp win, I guess we should say, because she did win some her first season as well. But it is interesting that the majority of the house guests did play because next week there's only going to be 5 that are eligible for the safety suite. So that really increases their chances. What do you think about the people that played this week? Anybody you think should have played that didn't? Or are you surprised that some people did play because they didn't really need it?
Well, I think anyone who's not in Memphis's alliance or hasn't talked to him should have played.
Yeah.
So one person I think that didn't play that should have was Nicole Anthony.
Hmm.
Maybe both of the Nicoles because they're not really in with Memphis. So
Super
I
tag.
think, yeah, I think both of the Nicoles should have played.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this. I hope that they both are survive to next week, and we get to see them play this last few play next week.
Yeah. Um, Someone asked, did Nicole F play and why? No, Nicole F did not play. Neither Nicole played in the safety suite. They'll both be eligible next week. Both Nicole's, Tyler, Danny, and Memphis will be the 5 that can play next week. So with Christmas winning the safety suite, she does get to have her +1. And a bit of a surprise, she decides to choose Ian. And I haven't really seen Christmas and Ian interacting that much. So to me, this comes as a surprise. I didn't think that was who she would pick.
Yeah, I didn't think Christmas would pick Ian either, and based on the feeds at this point, we don't really know why she chose Ian other than her saying, like, she didn't wanna choose someone in their alliance. Maybe she's trying to keep this a secret. Um, I was thinking maybe Ian got second, and we're just gonna continue passing that torch like Kaser did with Janelle. Um, I don't really know why she chose Ian. It's a odd strategy. It's very
It's
odd
odd.
Christmas, but
And what's interesting about it is Memphis is so dead set on that group of six not ever meeting all together at one time, that they're each going to pass the information down the line to the next one. And so Memphis really hadn't shared his thoughts on nominations with anybody. And we know that one person Memphis was thinking about targeting was Ian, but we have that breakdown of communication between the alliance because Memphis won't let them all meet at one time and get on the same page. And so Christmas saves probably his biggest target. So
this whole
interesting.
the asterisk alliance is not working out for Memphis.
Yeah.
We still haven't gotten full
So
circle there.
yeah, no, Memphis is not. It's an interesting approach. I don't think it's going to be successful. I think for the group to be strong, they need to all talk, but Memphis is just not having that.
Yeah.
So
So now that, Christmas won the safety suite, she chose Ian. And so we know as a part of Ian's safety, he will also get a punishment of a costume. So what do we think his costume's gonna be?
I don't know. I think it's going to be really fun. We're both here for maybe them throwing it back and letting Ian be the little puppy dog again. He represented it so well last time. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to stick to their theme of the BB All Stars. Like maybe Ian will get to be a moon or a sun and just keep it as the solar system. But
They're just
I
gonna
don't
go with the
know.
whole solar system. This
Yeah,
isn't
you're
all stars. This is all solar system.
you're the Earth. So I don't know what Ian's going to be. We will get to see that today. He said that he would be getting his punishment today. So we'll see what Ian has to wear. Hopefully, they don't do something as drastic as the BB-20 Sam robot because that really put her at a detriment. So hopefully, it's just something fun and silly that doesn't really impact the game any. I feel like Ian is struggling to find his footing. So anything that makes him feel more isolated is not going to be good for his game.
Yeah. Like CVS, please do not ever bring back the Sam costume punishment ever again. That was the worst.
The worst thing. And, last week with Janelle in her star costume, we did see her spending a lot of time in bed because when she was in bed, she didn't have to wear the full get up. And so we don't need anything that's going to isolate Ian even more. Now that he has the guaranteed safety, I feel like this is a really good week for him to strengthen some relationships, try and get some good bonds going where he doesn't have to worry about the risk of coming across as a threat. So hopefully Ian does well with his costume and we see what happens.
One of our comments says Nicole F might have influenced her, referencing Nicole F influencing um,
Christmas.
Christmas and selecting Ian. Do you think? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a chance. We know they're in that six-person alliance together, and Nicole F is definitely looking out for Ian. So she might have had a hand in that. I'm just really not I really don't know what was in Christmas's head. So it'll be interesting once we do get those DRs to
Yeah,
see what she was thinking in the moment or if she just kind of panicked and picked somebody. I'm not sure.
just like you, you get you get safety this week.
You just land on somebody. I don't know. Uh, so after the safety suite, we do get the nominations. Yesterday we talked about there was really five names Memphis was kind of throwing around. Ian being one of those. He's now off the table. Bailey and Davon as a pair, and then he also talked about doing Nicole Anthony and David. So he does end up settling on Nicole Anthony and David. What do you think
But
about those as a choice?
um I mean, from for me, I like both of those people in the house, and they're on my fantasy draft team, so I don't want either of them to go. I hope that somehow we're able to send someone else home. But from a Memphis perspective, neither of those two are in his alliance. He hasn't really talked game with either of those two, so I can understand. However, there's Nicole Anthony and or David. If his final end game is to get rid of Janelle, or I don't know, to make a big move at some point, I don't see where this really, I mean, this just seems like an easy week. This seems like the easy way out, and not, I don't know, the Memphis that comes screaming out of the diary room with his HOH key to ready to, stir everything up after last week. I'm kind of shocked that he went with such a low on the totem pole noms, in my opinion.
Right. So I agree. I think that game wise, he's not going. No one is going to be very upset either way if Nicole Anthony or David leave the house this week. But definitely the easy way out. I can understand where it makes sense for his game, but it's just another repeat of last week. Cody took the easy way out. He picked two people that really didn't cause a stir, and Memphis is going that same route. So,
Yeah. And then we move into, oh, we do get to hear a little bit about why he made the noms he did, because his nom speech, those are not shown on the feeds. We don't get to see those until the episode airs.
right.
But a lot of the house guests were talking about his nom speeches. Um, Janelle even confronts him about it and is talking to him about it.
Yeah, so I like a house divided, and I like it when people are brutally honest with each other and don't just beat around the bush like, oh, well, I like you, but we haven't really talked game. I like it when they're direct and they tell them, I'm putting you on the block because of this reason. But from what we're gathering from Memphis's nomination speech, he is pretty brutal and actually pretty mean on a personal level. And Nicole Anthony is just this sweet little innocent person. And I think if you come at somebody like Janelle with hard speech, she's going to dish it back to you. But that's just not the kind of person Nicole Anthony is. And I think coming at somebody like that very aggressively when that's just not their personality, it doesn't make you look like this big aggressive player. It makes you look like a douchebag. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, I mean, we were all Memphis, wins HOH. We get to see his heartfelt speech or read his HOH letter yesterday, and we're all here for, this Memphis HOH thinking he's really going to flip the house upside down with everything that he planned to do in his HOH reign, but he hasn't really flipped the house upside down with his actions. He has really flipped the house upside down with his words.
Yeah.
So we know I don't recall anything that he said to Nicole Anthony. I'm not sure if that was said on the feeds, but one of the things he said to David is, you're playing at the big boy table now. And kind of like these jabs at him, like he didn't deserve to be here. And as we go through the feeds, he makes comments to other players, like in the conversation with Janelle, he makes a comment to her that pretty much he doesn't deserve to be here. He also talks about how production kind of got onto him in the DR and was like, why did you say that? And he started going on this rant about, like, do y'all think he deserves to be here? Like, why is he here? Like, he is not an all-star. So that was his intent behind that comment of saying, welcome to the big boy table, saying Memphis doesn't feel like David deserves to be here. And this has rubbed a lot of the house guests the wrong way. Even people that are currently aligned with Memphis are backing out of that and are not happy with how he has gone about this.
Yeah, and this is really the second time, also earlier that morning when they were deciding on have-nots, he was really aggressive towards David. So having this second incident in a short period of time just really has people feeling a certain type of way about Memphis and just not a good look for him. Like I said, you can bring it game-wise, but he's just kind of taken it to a personal level. And so we did see a lot of the feeds yesterday were people consoling David and Nicole Anthony. He actually made both of them cry, which,
How dare you make Nicole Anthony cry? Like,
how dare you?
those are tears of sunshine.
She's just a sweet little flower, and you should not do that to her. So, interesting approach for Memphis. Like we said, it is probably going to backfire on him. It seems really, we already talked about where Danny was kind of put off by Memphis and his aggressiveness, but we also see Tyler talking about it. And he makes the comment this morning on the feeds of, you're talking about David doesn't belong at the big boy table, but you need to go to the retirement home. And so he's really pissed off two of the people that are supposed to be in this six-person alliance, where we were hoping for Memphis's sake that this week would solidify that group of six. It definitely isn't going to play out that way. Memphis is going to have to turn it around, which I don't even think he can at this point because of his actions.
Yeah, all within a day. Everything has changed in 24 hours, folks.
Yeah, so Memphis is not getting a lot of love in the house. So
Yeah,
we'll see what happens as the week goes on, but Memphis could be in a bit of trouble with his comments for sure.
definitely. Well, then we move into off the Memphis Heat and onto Janelle campaigning for Nicole A. And we saw Janelle campaign for Keisha, and that didn't go so well. So, is Janelle cursed?
I think it's a little interesting that she's deciding to push so hard for Nicole Anthony right now because we do still have the veto to play, but she has already come to Memphis and is pushing to for him to use the veto and to take Nicole Anthony down and to replace her with the other Nicole, Nicole F. No shocker there. We all know those two don't like each other, but we know that Memphis is supposed to be in this alliance with her, so I'm not sure that that's the best approach. But yeah, Janelle is pushing hardcore to keep Nicole Anthony safe. They've developed this little friendship, and so she spent a long time in the HOH room last night with Memphis. They had an entire bottle of wine that they split between the two of them and just chatted about the game. They chatted a lot about life, but because she spent so much time in there and Memphis had rubbed people the wrong way earlier in the day, it didn't wasn't a good look for Janelle, even though she had good intentions.
Right. Yeah, well, I hope that she is able to pull some campaign moves for Nicole Anthony personally, so we'll see.
Yes, I agree. But simultaneously, that Janelle's up in the HOH room pushing for Nicole Anthony. We've got Enzo and Kevin and Nicole Anthony down in the bathroom talking, and they are telling Nicole Anthony that she is getting played by Janelle. So at the same time,
What
on
a
different
dumpster
levels,
fire.
yes, it's a dumpster fire because Janelle is actually working really hard to save Nicole Anthony. She's got a legitimate friendship with her, but Nicole is so insecure from last season that she's just very worried that she's getting played.
Yeah, understandably so. I mean, not only are her insecurities there, but also, I mean, it's Janelle. Like, Janelle fashion is she's very game driven and not her alliances typically don't matter. But we're seeing a different side of Janelle this season. She's still that hardcore player. But this is just so devastating to see on the feeds that Janelle is working so hard, wants Nicole Anthony by her side, wants to keep her, and Nicole Anthony isn't buying it, and people are telling her, even more so, don't buy it. She's going to stab you in the back.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of hard to see because Janelle is she's playing hard, and we saw how unsuccessful her campaigning was last week for Keisha, and I don't want to have to see it again where I think Nicole Anthony is going to fight harder than Keisha did for sure if she stays on the block, but Janelle cannot be the one that campaigns harder than the person that's actually up there.
For sure. So, speaking of alliances and people working for everyone, let's talk about some of the alliances that we're seeing in day 10 now in the house.
Yeah,
Deals,
it is
deals, deals, deals. Here we go.
Deals,
deals,
deals.
deals. It is a mess of alliances. We have this graphic. Everybody kind of has a deal with everybody else. Um, it's a very tangled web, as you can see. But what people are really starting to notice, we have several house guests commented on it yesterday, is this group of four with Danny, Nicole Franzel, Tyler, and Cody. Those four are really being associated together. We do know that they're in that group of six with Christmas and Memphis also, but those four have been seen chatting together. The problem is that many people are having an accurate read here, but they tend to bring it to the wrong person. So they're telling Christmas that they see this group of four working together. And we know Christmas is also working with them, but they haven't associated her with it. And we get a conversation of Davon talking to Danny, and she talks about how close she can see Cody and Nicole FR. And Danny is super close with both of them. So some of the people that are outside that group of four or group of six, their reads are on point, but they're going to put a target on their back because they're saying it to the wrong people.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. But I mean, for the people who support that group, for the Nicole F, Danny, Cody stands, Tyler, it's working for those people.
Yeah, those four are doing well. I mean, I think they're all in a really great position in the house because they have a lot of people protecting them. So, um,
They might go far unless Nicole F ends up going up on the block as a backdoor this week. We'll see.
yeah, maybe Janelle was able to work her magic and get through to Memphis. Well, that'll be interesting to see if it plays out. I am here for it because, as many of you know, we're not Nicole Franzel fans here. So if Cody or Memphis decides to do that, I'm not going to be upset about it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna be mad if Nicole F goes home. I I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm not her fan, but of everyone else in the house, I mean, she could go for sure.
Yeah, that would be fine. So today in the house, we will get to see the veto competition play. It'll be interesting to see. I think I think David or Nicole Anthony could be the target just depending on what happens. I feel maybe a little bit that the house leans towards keeping David at this point. I think
Out of a pity, they
personally,
just feel bad.
right. I think personally, if I were in the house, I would probably keep David too. He's not proven himself at all. He's only gotten to compete in a few comps in his BB history, and he's done terrible in all of them. So I don't know why you wouldn't keep him around. We've seen Nicole Anthony work herself out of tough situations like she did last season, ends up in the final three. And so I would probably want to get rid of her too because she is a powerful player, low key. But it's all going to depend on what happens in the veto. Who do you think needs to win it more, David or Nicole Anthony?
I well, I mean, it really is gonna depend on where the house is laying when we get to veto. So if everyone's wanting to keep David at this point, then Nicole Anthony definitely needs to win that veto. But it would be, best case scenario if Nicole F gets pulled in, she's able to pull one of them off, then she's also safe. And that really pokes a hole in a lot of, Memphis's plans, or if Davon or Bay win, and they're able to pull one of them off. But I am scared for if someone pulls Nicole Anthony or David off, I'm scared about who would go up because Memphis has so many targets he's, aiming at. Like he would easily just it's not it's not one of those HOH reigns where we're unsure of who he would put up. I mean, we pretty much know Day or Bay, Nicole F, if Janelle is able to get to him, would go up in one of their places, and I don't want to see that either. So
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that if one of those two people comes down, seeing how he did his nominations, I think he's gonna probably maybe nominate like a Kevin as a replacement nominee and just keep it really simple, really basic, not get that blood on his hands, not make a big move. So we will see what happens with this for sure.
yeah, I mean, and Memphis may just be so upset about everyone making his speeches such a big deal because he's kind of like, why is everyone so offended about what I said? He may be just kind of upset with the house and say, you know what, like if Nicole Anthony gets taken off, I'm gonna put up a Kevin because I want David to go.
Yeah.
So
Yep, it'll be interesting. So, this is going to bring us to our tweet of the day. Oh, real quick,
really
a
quick, we have a
question.
comment.
Who
Who
lost
lost?
stocks this week? I think that the glaring, obvious one is Memphis. He's the only one that has shook the house up any, and mainly it was just upsetting to pretty much everybody. So I don't see that Memphis improved his standing with anybody with
Yeah,
his HOH
he
win.
has alliances are beginning to secretly cut from him. He doesn't know that yet, but a lot people are no longer wanting to work with him. They don't want to work or be associated with a person like Memphis at this point. So yeah, Memphis, if he doesn't, if he's not able to do some damage control, we might see Memphis go out next week just because of
Yeah,
how terrible his nom speeches were and how
for
bad he's rubbing this house.
Yeah, for sure. I think Memphis could be in trouble next week depending on who comes into power. So if you had a lot of stock in Memphis, it's going down. This does bring us to our tweet of the day. And so yesterday, when Janelle and Memphis were spending all their time in the HOH room enjoying their bottle of wine together. Memphis says that his goal this season is to win the most competitions ever won in a single season. First of all, pump the brakes, boy, because you won one competition. You are not known for being this comp beast, and him and Enzo are very high on themselves, thinking that they're going to win some competitions just because they've won this one. And just ease up a little bit. Especially
Memphis
you, Enzo.
Memphis wins one HOH comp, his first HOH comp ever, and
Right.
he's really feeling himself.
And he's got his eyes on the record. And so Janelle does have to tell him that she's the one that holds the personal record of 9 comp wins in one season. And not only is that just a ridiculous number of comp wins, Janelle is such a beast, but in the seasons Janelle played in, they weren't as long as the current season. So not only did she win 9 competitions period, but she also won them in a shorter amount of time. So that number is
Right.
just insane.
She's like, I
Insane
mean,
that she won that
if you
many.
could just feel Janelle's eyes rolling.
Right.
So
Like,
we
come
have a
on.
tweet here from Wit. So her username is at Witless WHITLESS 256, which says Memphis to Janelle. My goal this year is to beat your comp record, win 9 comps, and then Memphis. It has the picture of him falling. I when I see this photo, I think of the SpongeBob theme song, and it's like flop on flop on the deck, flop like a fish, or whatever it says, because he just looks like he's flailing around on the
Yeah.
ground.
Memphis definitely did not show his athletic prowess in the premiere when he ran across these stars. I was like snort laughing so hard because I enjoy a good fall. And so for him to say that he is coming for her comp record and we've seen this performance, I think it's safe to say that her record will be safe from Memphis. Maybe somebody else could beat it, but I don't think that we have to worry about that person being Memphis.
The
He's
only way
just a little
Memphis
high
is
on himself.
the only way Memphis is going to win 9 comps this season is if he can find all of the flower vases.
Right, exactly.
Every comp has to do with flower vases.
Yes, that maybe is his specialty. So that is pretty funny. Definitely what I was thinking there too in that conversation. Just there is no way. What are you even thinking?
You're right.
It's comical.
Oh, Memphis. Well, at the end of the day, it's been nothing short of pure entertainment in the Big Brother house since he has won HOH. Memphis is really bringing us all of the most shocking things. So I'll be excited to see what happens in Veto comp today, and we'll be sure to bring you guys that tomorrow. So thanks for everyone for joining us today. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and Twitter at RealiTEA underscore TRHS for reality underscore TRHS on both Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get all of the latest updates when we go live at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time every day. And be sure to drop us a comment and like our videos. Have a great day. Cheers. Bye, y'all.
Okay.